Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? It's Thursday, December 9th. It's old Jerry's birthday today. So, what can we talk about today? Other than the fact that I'm wearing a sparkly Santa hat. It's that time of year where we get out the old DJ Rustical's Christmas music and do some Christmas videos. Smoking a birthday cigarette. I don't smoke anymore, so I'm on this thing. But let's talk about amplifiers and strapping and when to strap your amplifiers and when not to. Because that's something I'm going to have to do here before long. Alright, guys. So, we got some weird things going on. When I swap this over to 6 subs, I only have 4 amps. Now, that does open some options, but those options come down to weird ohm loads. And we're going to lose the Santa hat, all right? Now, what I could do is break the subs into 3s. And with 3 subs, I can run 2 amps to each pair of 3 subs without strapping. But what I'd have to do is take 1 coil from each 3 subs to this amplifier. The other 3 coils to this amplifier. Make sense, guys? That way you're using 1 coil from each 3 to 1 amp. So I could do that and use 6 subs on all 4 amps. Now, another option that might be better, because you got to weigh ohm loads in this whole situation. I could just, do 2 amps strapped and then do 3 subs to that pair of amps strapped. And I think I'm going to wind up, either way I do it, if I'm doing dual 2s, you see, you take 2 ohms divided by 3, you get 0.67. So either way this works out, I would be at 0.67, but this is just options to do it. I have never strapped amps before because I've never had amps that are strappable until now. So like I said, you got to weigh your options and your ohm configurations to do this. Either way, I think the ohm load is going to come out the same, because if I take 3 coils, 1 from each sub, run to amp A, and the other 3 coils from them 3 subs to amp B, with dual 2s, I'll be at 0.67 either way. If I parallel each sub and, out of the 3 to 4 ohm, run all of the 4 ohm together, I'll be at 133 to the 2 amps strapped, so each amp's going to see 0.67. So, this is kind of just giving you an explanation of how to wire the subs, especially when you're dealing with banks of 3 on 2 amplifiers. I said, it's very easy to do. Most people overlook the fact that you can just take 1 coil from each sub and put on this amp, 1 coil from each sub, put on this amp. The only thing is you really have to be good at gain matching your amplifiers. Like, you definitely need a good multimeter, not a cheap like parts store one that you get for 25 bucks. You need a good multimeter. And you really need to dial each amplifier in really, really well, because, you got 2 amplifiers on each coil. So when you strap, you're only dealing with 1 gain, because 1 amp kind of takes over the other one. And your master amp is what you set the gain on and the crossovers and everything. And it's kind of tricky because, you got to put your RCA in on the master. Then by your slave switch, you'll have a single RCA. You got to run an RCA from it to the little one by the master slave switch on the other one. You got to make sure that you definitely have your master switches and, got 1 master, 1 slave. But you got to connect the grounds. Like your amp output, where the speaker outputs go, you literally run a wire from the output of the ground on this one to the ground on this one. And then you use like your master amp positive output is positive. Your slave output on positive side will be the negative. So that's kind of going over the whole strapping thing. Like I said, when to do it, really, I don't see that you would ever have to, honestly. I just kind of laid out how to do it by wiring 3 coils to this amp, 3 coils to this amp, Because, yeah, it's very possible to run 3 subwoofers off 2 amplifiers. You just got to break the coils apart, By all the math I've done and writing everything out on paper, I'm going to get the same ohm load either way. It's just, I honestly think I would like to try strapping amps for once. I've never done it. Most people say you don't really get as efficient doing it that way. I myself, I'm going to try it when I go to 6 subs in here. I'm going to strap them at first and see how it goes. See if I like it. It's going to be kind of weird gain matching 2 amplifiers versus 4. Because I set my gains with a multimeter and usually the DD1 to find clip point. But with these amps, I've never turned them up high enough to get close to clip point. I have bumped them up to get a clip light on the amplifier to come on, and I was a little over 120 volts. But I usually kick them down to around 115. But it's going to be weird, if it works right. I'm going to be over 200 volts. And I'm going to have to probe, the positive on this amp and the ground on that amp with my multimeter. But I want to try it just because I've never done it. I figure I'll try it long enough to get the subs, nice and broke in. And then I'm going to put it on the meter and see what it does. And then I'm going to break everything apart and run 3 coils per amplifier. And then reset all 4 gains and do it like normal and remeter to see if there's any difference. But, yeah, especially, and this is good for the guys that run tar amps. Like if you want to run 3 subs, 2 amps, or 6 subs, 4 amps, you might already have 4 MD8Ks and you want to add, 2 more subs, but you don't want to buy amps or have the spare cash to buy the 2 amps or just the room to put more amps. That's the problem I run into. I don't have any more room in here. And especially having to build the enclosure bigger for 2 more subs, I definitely am going to be tight on room. So that's where I came up with the whole, I'll just use the 4 amps I have. Knowing how to wire subs and multiples of 3 to 2 amps really helps. And that's where, taking 1 coil from each sub. And usually the only thing you run into when you do that, especially if you have subwoofers that have regular coils. By regular coils, I mean dual 1, dual 2, dual 4. You're definitely going to be running into ohm loads that are a little weird, like 0.33, 0.67, 133. That's the only thing that's really weird. I have messed with a lot of subs that are dual 1.5s. So running subwoofers that have a weird coil like that, like FI and a bunch of other brands, when you get into the dual 1.5, you always come out with a weird ohm load anyway. So it ain't really going to be no different. Just do your math on your ohm loads. And the easiest way I found to do that, if you just don't know it, I just know it, but you take how many coils you have. So you got, say, dual 2s, and you're running 3 subs, but you're only going to wire 3 coils to this amp. If they're dual 2, you take 2 on the calculator, you hit divide by, you got 3 coils, you hit 3. And, 2 divided by 3, you're going to be at 0.67. Or 0.66666, yeah. But anyway, I hope this helps somebody. Everybody have a great day. Thank you for watching my videos. I'm just trying to help the little guys out and people understand a lot of things better that took me a long time to figure out. So everybody have a great day. Peace out, guys. And as always, bass on.